Hello and welcome back to our exciting new format, Weddel TV. I'm Emily Humphrey.
And I'm Dave Drew from Weddel Swift.
Coming up on this week's new style Weddel TV, we've got a fantastic interview with
Duncan Wyatt
from the AHDB.
As well as an update from our Antigua holiday winners and details of our Easter promotions.
But first, we're excited to introduce our new weekly Weddel product feature. This week, we're showcasing our Weddel matured horseshoe gammons.
These gammons are prepared using a Wiltshire Cure recipe with a low injection rate and have excellent trim levels, which hopefully you can see here. Here's Darren, manager at Market Harborough. Darren, what makes these gammons so special?
What we've found is the added value of being the Wiltshire Cure. It has proven over the last few years a key part of the sales of the product, and we have the retention in sales from week to week basis.
The shank's also been removed, allowing you to produce a fantastic yield. And we're able to supply these within a consistent weight range of around 5 kilos.
They look fantastic, Dave.
They really do, and they're perfect for some garden nibbles in April when hopefully we can all start to see family and friends again.
I know, I'm looking forward to that.
Me too.
And actually, with Easter now fast approaching, don't miss out on our promotions on turkeys and lamb legs. You can contact your local depot for more information.
And now we're excited to have a little update from last year's Antigua Holiday Prize winners.
Oh, hi Steve, great to see you again. Thanks for joining us on Weddel TV. It has been quite a year really, it's a year since we went into our first lockdown.
Yeah, it's about a year
and
ago,
how,
yeah.
Just, it'd be interesting to find out, how things have been for the last year with your trading.
From the word go, it's been bananas, been flat out, really busy. So triple our trade from day one. See, we need the meat to cope with that. And Weddel have been brilliant. The amount of stock I've had in my shop and the amount of times I haven't got what I wanted is basically
good.
2 days. That's it.
Excellent.
So yeah, a fantastic job all round from Weddel as well. So the shopping habits but the shopping habits have changed a little bit. A lot of people, we're getting a lot of our older customers now want a delivery. So that's fine. Obviously they've been shielding a lot of them, and so we're able to offer local deliveries. They're all local people, so it's not difficult. Yeah.
Steve, thank you very much. It's been fantastic to talk to you again. And no doubt we'll be talking to you some other time and get some more updates from your business. And in the meantime, keep going and keep
we're always going to keep going. We're always going to keep going. We are.
Excellent.
Great to hear from them. And I'm sure we all can't wait for a little summer sun.
I know I can't, but first I actually need my hair cutting.
I'm saying nothing.
And finally, we're delighted to hear from AHDB to tell us a little bit more about the current challenges and exciting prospects for the industry over the next few months.
Well, we're delighted today to have Duncan Wyatt from the AHDB. Who's going to give us a little bit of insight on their view of what's happening in the market. Hi Duncan, great to have you with us today.
Hello Dave, thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure. Obviously we have seen a huge demand in meat during the last 12 months and the COVID pandemic. How's that translated to cattle throughput?
Yeah, really good actually. So in the early days of COVID, we essentially saw the food service market close, and a lot of that demand moved. Well, actually, almost all of it moved into retail. So people went out and bought mince initially, and then the market kind of sort of sorted itself out, discounted some steaks, and actually we started to balance the carcass. So initially in 2020, we were expecting a reduction in production. And the reason for that is if you cast your mind back to 2018, we had a terrible spring, and unfortunately we lost a few calves and cows. So that was going to come through to lower production in 2020. But actually beef demand, and particularly beef demand for British beef, has done really well. And actually throughputs have been maintained, and production last year was actually higher than in 2019.
Wow, very interesting. And Duncan, how do you think will that translate into calf registrations? Do you think will we see an uptake in calf registrations due to this?
It's possible. So obviously, as I mentioned, in 2018 we saw a reduction in registrations, but that was because of mortality, unfortunately. Last year we actually saw registrations pretty stable. We've seen a lot more use of sexed semen in the dairy herd. What that does, it frees up farmers to use more beef semen as well. So we're seeing more beef coming out of the dairy herd in terms of for instance, Angus breeds and things like that, a little bit more Herefords as well, perhaps. And so, yeah, actually, if you look at native breeds, let's take Angus, Hereford and Shorthorns together, they constitute probably a third of all registrations.
And obviously the knock-on effect of this is demand from an importation point of view, and Brexit rolled into that as well. How's the HDB seen the sort of EU importation of beef and any changes over the last 12 months?
Yeah, so UK imports of European beef have actually dropped from Ireland and other European countries as well. And again, you know, because COVID closed the food service market and imported beef does relatively well in food service, that meant our demand for imported beef dropped off. That demand moved into retail, butchers and other things as well. And so demand for British beef in particular has been higher, which is why we've produced more as well to meet that demand. Prices have been really good as well. So I think what might happen is as the vaccine rolls out and as COVID as the lockdown from COVID starts to ease throughout the year, what we'll probably see is that demand move back towards food service as people get confidence about going out and eating out in restaurants again. And we'll probably see at that point, relatively speaking, a little bit of a reduction in demand for British cattle in particular, and that we might see prices receiving a little bit less support towards the end of the year. But, you know, we'll have to wait and see really about how it goes. Definitely at the moment, the big effect of COVID was a reduction in imports for beef into the UK. Brexit is another kind of matter, and certainly January trade, both imports and exports, both contracted quite sharply in January as people were getting their head around the paperwork in terms of what it means to export to Europe now, and imported beef was actually a lot lower as well. I think a lot of people got ahead of the game a little bit and did some more trade before Christmas time. You know, we were staring down the idea of maybe a no deal, in which case there would have been tariffs applied, and actually imports and exports both reduced quite markedly in January, it looks like.
Duncan, really appreciate your time today, spending some time and the insights from the HDB and your own personal viewpoint, and I'm sure we'll see you again. Thanks very much indeed.
My pleasure, thank you.
That's almost it for this week, but before we go, don't forget we're still running our Farmers Gate Glazes promotion for the whole month of March.
With a 10% discount on the price and entry into a prize draw to win an iconic Weber Compact Barbecue, or even the incredible Wild Goose Kamado Barbecue.
That's it for now. Stay safe and we'll look forward to seeing you next time on Weddel TV.